Hey man, say man, it's the kid that did. We back again with some news you can use for the views. So Diddy's worst nightmare may have just come true. And we're gonna tap in with Tisa Tales to see what's going on. Let's get right into it. All right. So she's on here and she has the scoop. I don't know why Tisa always has the scoop, but she got the scoop. Let's get into it.
Come in and sit down. We gotta talk. They are saying Diddy is about to go broke. Now let's talk about it, y'all. Diddy thought he dodged a big one. No SMEX trafficking conviction, no RICO conviction, just about two Mann Act convictions, and this man thought he was just going tiptoe out the door with some bail. Now listen, Judge Aaron told him to sit down before he sits him down. But y'all, let's actually talk about
What?
how Diddy forgot one thing: the civil cases, and now Jane Doe, the escorts, and every person who's ever got flown out under pressure just got a legal cheat code, and they're coming straight for his money. Y'all, let's get into this because all I gotta say is, baby, we'd love to see it.
Ah.
Now, first of all, I want everybody on the internet to understand what Diddy was actually convicted of and why it's a civil
So now
lawsuit.
they're gonna try to take his money
All right, so
because
let's
they
get into
couldn't
it
get him locked
because this
up.
part
That's
matters
bogus.
more than people and the Diddy supporters realize. A lot of folks heard Mann Act and thought it was some dusty technical law. Now, I'm not gonna lie, this dope. It is rooted in racism, white slavery. However, over the years, over the years, it
Why do
evolved,
we
and it's
still
one of the
have
most
these
powerful
laws on the
tools the
books?
prosecutors use in sex trafficking. All right, y'all got that? Now let's get into this. All right, so the Mann Act now is a federal sex crime statute, and baby, it has teeth. It carries prison time up to 20 years. And if you plead guilty or you're convicted, that stays on your record for life. Now, baby, Diddy was convicted. So, what exactly was Diddy convicted of? Under US Code 2421, the Mann Act makes it a federal felony to knowingly transport a person across state lines for the purposes of illegal sexual activity, whether that's prostitution, commercial sex, or coercive sexual arrangements that violate state or federal
And
laws.
see, this is
Now,
what
let's break
I
this down
didn't
legally because I
understand.
need for people in the back to hear this.
This is what I didn't understand, right? That I was on a podcast. I can't remember whose podcast it was, but I was basically saying, so like now is it illegal to fly a female out just to knock her down? That's what I need to know. Like it was like, is that like you finna fly somebody out? I'm like, I mean, I may if I get a little bread, I might want to fly somebody out and knock her down. Like, is that illegal or because she said for legal purposes. So maybe it was illegal. I don't know. Let's get into it.
Only means it wasn't accidental. You booked the flights, you arranged the hotel, you knew what was going to happen. For illegal sexual activity includes sex under coercion, fraud, drugs, manipulation, or exploitation, not just
See
formal
what I'm
prostitution.
saying? This is
And
too
crossing state lines turns
loose,
it
man.
into a
Hold
federal
on,
offense,
y'all. Hold
not
on.
just a local scandal. And
This
that's
is too loose because now it's like y'all are opening up the floodgates for somebody to say he manipulated me, he coerced me, he convinced me with this money or anything. You know what I'm saying? Sorry, y'all. My bad. I don't know why I'm doing this right now. But yeah, it's crazy. But let's get into it, y'all. Like, come on.
exactly what federal prosecutors alleged Diddy did multiple times over multiple years to multiple women and the escorts. So even if the charges were sealed, okay, and even if he didn't serve time, which they're not sealed, and he is going to serve time, a conviction or guilty plea under the Mann Act means the federal government proved beyond a reasonable doubt that he used his power, wealth, and transportation access to commit sex trials,
See what I'm
sex crimes.
saying?
Baby, let that sink
That's
in. No, literally, let
so
us. Okay, now let's see. Now
that's
here's why the
so
conviction is a
loose.
civil lawsuit jackpot. It removes the burden of proof for future plaintiffs. That's right. Jane Doe and the escorts don't need to prove that Diddy intended to exploit them across state lines. All they have to do is show up and say, Yana, here's his federal conviction. He's already been found guilty of doing this exact thing. They don't need him to be convicted of sex trafficking. They only need to show by a preponderance of the evidence that it's more likely than not that he harmed them. A Mann Act conviction is like a neon sign for the judge saying this man has done this before. This isn't theoretical. The Mann Act makes him legally vulnerable even without
The
jail time.
man
Because let's be
act.
clear, Diddy
That's
may
crazy,
be able
bro.
to avoid a lengthy prison sentence, but legally, he's now a convicted sex offender under federal law. That's admissible.
What?
That's
So hold
powerful. And in
on,
a civil
y'all.
court, baby, that's
Whoa.
money. The
So
survivor
is he gonna have to like register on the text text message list? You know what I'm saying? Like that's great. I didn't think that's crazy. It's a lot of things he's not gonna be able to do just being on that list. There's a lot of places he ain't gonna be able to go. If there's kids in certain places, he might not be able to go. Dang, bro. You should have went over there with Russell Simmons, brother. Let's keep going.
don't need to prove consent was absent. They don't need to prove, oh, I didn't consent, I didn't want it. They don't have to sit up in front of those juries and listen to them watch all the horrors and be like, yeah, you wanted it. The law has already said it didn't matter, because under the Mann Act, consent isn't valid if the sexual activity involves fraud, manipulation, or abuse of power. So when people say, well, they agreed to go, the court has already decided the agreement was not legally valid. You cannot legally agree to let somebody exploit you like that.
But see, listen, hold on.
Now here's the translation for the timeline.
And how can we prove that that's how she really felt? How can we prove that she wasn't feeling it at the time then, and now that I'm not fucking with her, I'm not cashing her out, I'm not doing what I used to do for her, now I was manipulated and I was coerced? And how can we prove that? Because now you guys are opening up the gate for anybody to just say, hey, I think I felt weird now. And I don't think that's cool. But let's get into it.
And the people in the back, Diddy just didn't take a PR hit, y'all. He was legally branded as someone who exploits women using power, travel, and coercion, even if he never wears an orange jumpsuit. And he will. Even the best estimate, Mark Garagos has him as a year. His money is now on the table, and the bill is
like
coming
she
due.
Want him to go.
But y'all, let's also focus on the civil fallout, okay? How these two convictions opened the lawsuit floodgates. Diddy's Mann Act conviction didn't close that chapter. It cracked the safe open. Because now that Diddy's been formally convicted of a federal sex crime, what's that mean? Take a guess. Every person who has ever been flown out, locked down, coerced, rugged, assaulted, manipulated, or just controlled by this man in a sexual context, maybe they have legal ammo.
I don't think this is
who are we talking about? Jane Doe, the escorts, any background dancers, industry girlfriends, paid for plus ones. I'm just saying, Diddy paid for their time, not their body. And the ones who were told, this is how it works, get used to it. And anyone who had to play along to survive. Now, thanks to collateral estoppel, it's a legal term, Diddy can't just show up in court and say, I didn't do that. Because the federal government already said, yes, you did in fact do that. The Mann Act conviction means every survivor's legal team gets to skip step one. They don't have to prove if he's guilty.
This is how they get you. They get you to plead to something that seems real nice, sweet, and you can go home today. But then it has some technicalities behind it. It has some little, loopholes that they can finesse and, finagle. But I don't know, man. Diddy got 8 lawyers over there. They seem like they on top of it. So I don't know what they trying to pull, but like I told y'all before, I think they might have let him get off of these charges, but they're not letting him get up out of there scot-free. So I don't know how much time he's gonna get. I think she said up to 20 years, but I don't know. I don't see Diddy getting anywhere near that for this Mann Act. You know what I mean? But let's get into it.
Focus on how much he owes. And maybe, of course, this is about money, not prison. But again, don't let people screw you with the okie doke. Okay? Don't let people screw you with the okie doke of, oh, no, why are you doing civil? You just want money? Hell yeah. Run that fool's pockets up. Because without that money, these people wouldn't be on their hands and knees begging for pennies doing this evil work. All right? This is about money, not prison.
She said it right there. This is about money, not prison. Hey, man, I feel like as men, we are kind of being attacked right now. We being, focused on. We being like demonized. And a lot of these females, man, they just as guilty as the men. You feel what I'm saying? I don't know, man. This is a wild case. Y'all get in the comments to let me know what y'all think about this. Was this all a finesse to get Diddy to plead guilty and still have 20 years over his head? Did they trick him? Are his lawyers as good as they say they are? I mean, you got 8 lawyers and you still facing a dub. I mean, you got all the life sentences and stuff off you. That's good. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. Do y'all think Diddy got finessed? Are they going to come for his money? Obviously. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Is he still a billionaire after all of this? And can he afford to pay all of these lawyers? He had 8 lawyers. He had a bigger team than O.J. Simpson. So is he going broke? Is he going to go broke once they start suing him? And is this all by design? Y'all get in the comments and let me know. But y'all know how we do it around here. Until then, put in the work.